they watching, I'ma make them sweat. Put your money down, place your bets. Degenerate, yeah, I'm a sicko. Who else gon' get you to the window? I know they watching, I'ma make them sweat. Put your money down, place your bets.
Are you ready for some football? Hey there, everyone, and welcome to a special episode of Graybo's Giblets. We're out here dropping giblets. I'm your host, Graybo, and I'm here joined by Denny one time and Fitz to break down some NFL futures, Super Bowl picks, and talk some sports cards. How we doing, fellas? Denny, how we doing?
Woo, I'm excited. I got my fantasy football draft and golf bender starting tomorrow. So I'm getting this in while I'm still sober. So let's do it.
Let's do it. Fitz, welcome.
Thank you
to the pod, man.
I think every episode's special.
It is.
Where are you going, Duke?
Hermitage on Friday, Independence on Saturday.
Can't.
So it's local.
Can't hide it.
Can't hide it. What a weekend Denny has. This is going to be good for fantasy, too. So let's break down some football. We're going to talk first about just the division previews, some conference previews, talk about some futures, who we like. So we're going to start in the AFC East. And the Bills are favored at plus 120. We have the Jets at plus 270, Dolphins plus 300, and the Patriots plus 800. I am using DraftKings. Did you guys find any better numbers? Who do we like in the AFC East?
I like the Bills to win it. I'm not sure I'm betting at that price. I can see you making a case for the Jets at plus 270. I'm out on the Dolphins and out on the Pats. And so for the division, I think I'm just passing the division.
All right, Fitz, who you got?
I like the Bills, too. I'm also going to pass, but I am not out on the Dolphins. I think they're a little scary. That's kind of why I'm passing.
I am all in on the Dolphins. This is one division I'm betting for that value at plus 300. Now, this is a very hard division, and the Dolphins do have the second hardest schedule, strength of schedule, but good value. Great offensive team. When Tua's healthy, you saw it. He is the key for Miami. And they're going to be tough with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, just absolute playmakers. And they're also the favorite to land Jonathan Taylor. So we'll see what happens there. Their defense is a tier 2 defense in fantasy. There you go, Duke, dropping some fantasy knowledge for you if you want to grab the Dolphins D, if y'all still play that. They added Bradley Chubb. I know they added Jalen Ramsey, but he's out until December. They still have Christian Wilkins. So really good defense, really good offense. I hope Tua can stay healthy, and they can definitely win this division. So I'm taking the Dolphins at plus 300.
Tua recovering from a sack is like Seto recovering from a hangover.
It's going to be
after drinking 4 White Claws. So I just think Tua is going to be great for 6 of the 17 games.
It's tough, but I am going to take it. All right, so let's move on to the AFC. Let's go to the North. AFC North. Anybody have anything to talk about with the AFC North?
Yeah, I think this is the most interesting division in football because I like, obviously, I like the Bengals and the Ravens, and I like the Browns and the Steelers. Like Mike Tomlin, he's going to keep them in it, so I could see this division all being jumbled together. I don't think you're getting a big enough price on the Bengals or the Ravens. I think the Browns at plus 400. Is value. And so this is one I'm betting is the Browns. Now, are they going to win the division? I don't know, but I like the price.
I like the Browns, too. I'm actually going to go with the Ravens, though, plus 235. When I first saw it, obviously, I was thinking Bengals. We're close personal friends with Zach Taylor.
Oh, yeah. We
but no, Lamar got his contract, got some weapons, going into a new offense. If you listen to the Tour Championship episode, all I care about are dogs, and Todd Monken's there as a new OC. So,
do you say that we shot dice with Zach Taylor? We just kind of watched him shoot dice?
That would be a lie, but we will. I'll cut this.
Fair enough.
And yeah, so I like the weapons. Defensive schedule should be easier, and I think if the Bengals are careful with Joe Burrow and they don't start him at the beginning of the year, they play the Ravens week 2. If the Ravens can steal that one, maybe have a tiebreaker for late in the year, I can see them sneaking that division.
Yep.
I really like the Bengals, and we'll talk about the Bengals when we talk about Super Bowl. But I like the number that the Browns have. You got them at plus 400?
Yeah.
It's nice. DraftKings has them at plus 380, so I'll shop around, but I still like that value. Denny's really got me on Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, that's good.
And the more and more I read about Deshaun Watson and listen to podcasts about him, I'm starting to believe in the Browns. You got Deshaun coming back for a full year. He's gotten some work in preseason. You have a great rushing attack with Chubb. They added Elijah Moore to go with Amari Cooper. A great offensive line. Don't sleep on their offensive line. So their offense is looking pretty good. And their D, who is led by Myles Garrett, who is the second favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year behind Parsons, with the new defensive coordinator, Jim Schwartz, who is known for stopping the run. I think this is a dangerous team.
I have nightmares about Myles Garrett sacking.
This is a dangerous team to sneak into the playoffs and maybe win a division, but it is, again, a hard division. The AFC is stacked, absolutely stacked with teams. Then you get to the NFC, and it's like, oh my gosh.
You do want to
see it. Really is. It really is. You have like one or two teams. In the AFC, you have about 6 teams that can win the Super Bowl, and the divisions are stacked. All right, so we like the Browns. We also like Bengals and Ravens. And we're not ruling out Steelers. I mean, you never know.
We are ruling them out.
Like Fitz is. But you never know with Tomlin. All right, AFC South is a little interesting. You have the Jags, big favorites at minus 155. Titans plus 350. Colts are plus 600, and the Texans are plus 800. Anything here, I'm actually passing on the AFC South, but that Titans number is intriguing. What do you got, Denny?
As much as I like Trevor and the Jags and what Peterson's doing down there, I think the public's overvaluing them just a tad and undervaluing the Titans. The Titans at plus 350. I think there's value there, so I think I'm going to sneak a bet in on my friends in Tennessee.
I like it. Fitz?
Yep, I don't hate that. I think the Jags probably win it, but Vrabel always has the Titans playing better than they are, so I'll probably just pass on this division.
All right. Pretty easy. Yeah, it's pass for me. AFC West, we got Mahomes and the Chiefs at minus 165. Chargers plus 340. Broncos plus 500, I saw. And the Raiders are plus 1,200. I'm also passing here. I think the Chiefs are going to dominate this division, back to the Super Bowl, maybe win it again. And I'm not laying any money on that number. So what do you have, Denny?
I normally don't like betting Super Bowl winner, the heavy favorite. It's just like I don't like betting something that's that chalky. But I just don't see two of the teams having any shot of winning the division. And while I like the Chargers, I do think the Chiefs are going to win the division. So I actually might bet them at minus 165.
You guys going to talk me into it?
Yeah.
I think he's going to talk me into it.
Yeah, you're going to have to ride because I agree with Duke. I'm going to take them minus 160 on the Chiefs.
All right, I'm in. They going back to the Super Bowl?
Unclear.
Okay.
Stay tuned.
All right. So let's go and flip it to the NFC. And we'll start in the NFC East. What do you guys have here? This is a tough division. We got the Cowgirls, right? Plus 190, but the Eagles are favored at minus 135. The Giants are plus 850. Your Commanders then at plus 1,500. Who we riding with in the East? NFC East.
I think the Eagles are loaded. Having 2 new coordinators, it's going to be a shock for any system, I think. So it gives me a little bit of doubt. I do think the Eagles historically, after going to the Super Bowl, have done very poorly the next year. Now that doesn't have to correlate this year necessarily. So the roster is loaded. I just think the Cowboys are pretty close to the Eagles, and the Cowboys are plus 190. So I like getting the value on the Cowboys a little more than taking the chalk here. I'm also okay passing, and every time I've ever bet the Cowboys, it's burned me. So take everything I say with a grain of salt in the NFC East. But I'm not betting the Commanders.
But you'll also like that if you bet the Cowboys and the burn you and they don't make the playoffs because you're a Commanders fan. So
Don't
win. Fitz does that all the time with fantasy.
Emotional hedges.
He'll do emotional hedges. We'll talk about that later. I'm going to pass on the NFC East as well. Fitz, do you have anybody here?
Yeah, I'm going to also pass. I agree with Duke on the value of the Cowboys. I think the Eagles probably win the division, but they actually have to play people this year, so I think there's going to be some. Yeah. They had obviously
Cowboys what?
the
Top.
easiest schedule last year.
Cowboys hardest schedule? Top? Top three, I believe.
The Eagles have a loaded schedule. Like that.
The Cowboys are up there too.
Yeah, they both have difficult schedules, but I think the Eagles like back weeks play like the Bills and the 49ers and someone else. Like it's brutal.
All right. Well, then let's go to the NFC North, where I have a bet here. One of my favorite teams. I know Fitz likes the other team, so we're going to talk about this division for a little bit. We got the Lions, our favorites. Can you believe that? Plus 140. Vikings plus 275. The Bears plus 400. And the Packers plus 400. It's pretty tight in this division, but the Lions are the favorites. Are we going Lions or are we going somewhere else? Let's start with Fitz this time, because I know he has a team he really likes in this division.
Yeah, I do like the favorites. I like the Lions plus 145. I think Goff takes another step. He's one of my favorite quarterbacks. I also like him in the card market too. I just don't believe in anybody else in that division. I think the Vikings, obviously, they won all 11 one-score games. They had to come from behind, like all of them. Obviously, the market with the over/under for them at 8.5 is showing that regression. So I just don't really believe in the Vikings. The Packers, that they're going to be middling, and then the Bears, who knows? So yeah, give me the Lions.
Yeah, the Bears were only 3 wins last year. I don't think they'll improve, but I don't think it's enough to win the division. Duke,
yeah.
What do you got?
So I had typed on here this morning, gave me the Lions, considering the Vikings with the Vikings price. Listening to my man Stuckey on the Action Network. Shout out Stuckey. He taught me way off the Vikings. Basically what Fitz said, like they're on the right side of variance last year, and they're more like a 7 or 8 win team. And I want to root for the Lions. I mean, I'm a Dan Campbell truther. I wasn't at first. He won me over on Hard Knocks, and just seeing how he's building the culture there. So I want to root for the Lions all year. Let's go Lions. Plus 145.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go opposite of that. I'm going to take the Vikings at plus 275. There's too much pressure on the Lions. We know what happens to the Lions. I know the Lions will be good. They're reloading at running back. They got Monty. They got Gibbs. They got a great offensive line. But besides Amon-Ra, Jameson Williams out 6 weeks. He also is suffering with a hamstring injury. He's out 6 weeks, and they have a bye, so don't take him in fantasy in the 6th round like someone did in our draft. But they also have a rookie tight end who hasn't proved himself yet.
Who you love?
Who I love. I do. In Dynasty. Not your redrafts, but I took him in Dynasty 2nd round. But he's got to prove himself, right? And then you have Goff. Now, I will say this about Goff. Towards the end of the season, he was the 4th best fantasy quarterback, and I love him in the card market. He was behind just Mahomes, Allen, and Hurts.
Pretty good.
That's pretty good. All right. So yes, I get the Lions.
Sounds like you like the Lions.
I like Lions. I do. I'm not saying I don't. But I'm gonna take this value with the Vikings, because can the Vikings beat them? Yes, they can. It's time for Madison to step up as the number 1 when Dalvin Cook was injured last year. He did that. Let's not forget the best offensive player, Justin Jefferson. You guys know him, right? TJ Hawkinson, who is a great weapon. And then they added Jordan Addison. So unlike the Lions wide receiver, Jameson Williams, Jordan Addison will be there, even though he was driving 200 miles an hour and got arrested, but he's playing. And then Kirk Cousins, he does what he needs to do, right? He's just an average quarterback, but, I mean, it could be worse. I think he's actually underrated. Have you watched that Netflix series, The Quarterback? Did you watch it?
I have not.
Have you seen it?
No.
People love him.
Yeah.
He's just your average
I like
guy.
him better than the public.
Yeah, he's just your average guy. I think he's a good quarterback. Now, the bad offensive line, which is no problem, and their head coach Kevin O'Connell. I think he needs to figure out how to run this team, but we will see. We will see. Time will tell. Now, do I think the Lions have an edge? Absolutely, but I'm going with the value. I'm going to take the Vikings. I'm going to go against y'all.
Go with your heart.
I am. All right, let's move on. All right, NFC South. Oh, my Lord. We got the Saints plus 120, Falcons plus 215, Panthers plus 400, and the Bucks plus 800. Someone is going to the playoffs out of this division.
This is like the Central or whatever of the NFL. It's so bad.
It's so bad. Probably only one team is going. Who knows? But I don't have anybody here. Talk me onto a team here, Denny.
I think Fitz and I are aligned here.
Yes.
So
You guys are on fire together.
yeah.
Did you have breakfast this morning?
We held hands and skipped to coffee shop.
Interesting.
So Falcons plus 215. I just think they're gonna. Fitz here's been a Ritter truther. I think he'll be at least serviceable. Maybe he has a good year. Bijan's a monster. I think they're the best team in this division, and I'm thankful to get plus money on it. So give me the Falcons.
All right, Falcons. Fitz, you going the same way?
Yeah. If you made me pick a division winner, I would actually choose the Falcons here at plus 215,
Without seeing
220.
the price, you just picked me too.
It's Desmond time. Clearly, this is a little bit of confirmation bias, right? Like when we started talking about doing this whole thing and picking out rookies, and you guys were throwing out names, and I threw out Desmond Ritter, and you guys just gave me crickets, and so I really just want to be right at this point.
He's barely played.
He has not. Yep,
but he's so much better in my mind.
right.
Now.
And he's high in the card market right now. I do like how they're set up because they all tied last year in the NFC South. So, but the Falcons actually finished last.
Right.
So they got the benefit of the last place schedule.
Right.
So they actually have the second easiest strength of schedule this year. The only bad thing is the Saints have the first. So, but the weapons in Atlanta are insane. Arthur Smith, I like him as a coach, and I like what they're doing with this position list. Offensive, like, Patterson and the new tight end, Jonnu Smith, Bijan. So I think Desmond's not going to have to do a whole lot, and they actually invested in defense in free agency. So give me the Falcons.
Please tell me Kyle Pitts has a good year, fantasy year. Is it time?
Well,
Is it time?
I mean, Ritter can't be worse than Mariota. He was awful. So.
All right, is that it? That was the last division? Oh, forgot about NFC West. Oh, the 49ers. Minus 160. Good Lord. Seahawks plus 195. Rams plus 10-1. Cardinals 25-1. Let's start with Fitz.
Yeah,
Is this
Wonder what Fitz is going to say.
What is Fitz going to say here? Are we going to? Are we even going to bet that number?
Yeah, we are. This is a lock. I mean, people are trying to convince themselves that the Seahawks are good, that Geno is him. It's just not the case. The 49ers are going to roll this division. They're probably going to win it by week 13 or 14. CMC full year. Brock Purdy knows he's a starter. Trey Lance is out. Give me the Niners at minus 160.
I'm going to take the Chiefs and the Niners now, just because.
Yeah, it's like
it's like a lot.
Yeah,
right?
I think it's free money. I think the 49ers are more free money than the Chiefs. I think the Chargers could catch the Chiefs somehow, some way. No one's going to catch the Niners. I mean, all three quarterbacks have to get hurt again.
Yeah,
it's not going to happen. So,
knock on wood.
Right, like you have Herbert, which was a good quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Like Fitz said, do you believe in Geno Smith again?
I guarantee the Seahawks will come in second.
Yeah,
I'll give them.
I'll concede that.
Yeah.
So no love for the Rams.
Do
maybe they're over.
That's why I said that.
Yeah,
I kind of like they're over.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, and then so let's talk about, do we have any overall NFC or AFC conference champion bets or predictions from you guys? Or we want to move on to future bets wins?
Oh, no. I bet everything.
I bet everything.
Yeah. All right, so let's start in the NFC. It's really a 2, maybe 3 horse race. You got the Eagles, the 49ers, and if anyone's going to catch them, I would say the Cowboys have a shot. So the Eagles are plus 330, the Niners plus 400, the Cowboys are plus 650. I think you bet one or all of these. If you do the math, you could bet all 3, and even if the chalk hits, you still make a little bit of money. But if the Cowboys hit, you make quite a bit of money. And then the 49ers have a great shot, and you cash a little bit there. So if I had to pick one, I think I'll take the value with the Cowboys plus 650, but it's hard to fade the Eagles and the 49ers. So that's NFC for me. AFC, I do think the public is undervaluing the Bills a little bit. They're getting a little disrespected because I have the last game of the season. I think Josh Allen was a little dinged up. I think the public's been harsh on the Chargers and the Bills because of how they ended the year. That's just one game. They're still the same team. So give the Bills plus 500 in the AFC. To me, that's the best value on that side.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people are talking about the Bills.
Yeah.
Chiefs. Even like skipping the Bills, going Bengals.
Yep.
Even in the card market, look at Joe Burrow. People just buying him left and right.
Yep.
Yeah, like you got to think about the Chargers didn't have like Mike Williams and Keenan Allen together on the field at all. It was either Mike Williams was hurt or Keenan Allen was hurt.
Now you give him Quentin Johnson.
And now you give him Quentin Johnson. Very dangerous. Very dangerous. Fitz, anything that you're betting with the NFC or AFC conference?
Very similar. Bills plus 500. Last year, they were Super Bowl favorites at plus 300. Obviously, it didn't work out, but
Right.
I'll take them to just win the division at 5. And then I'm going to be a homer and take the Niners to get it done this year at plus 400.
Yeah, plus 400. I actually am taking the 49ers, plus 400. Be proud of me. And in the AFC, I have a little bit on the Bengals. And then I also have on the Bills. How about us? Does everyone like people?
Synergy.
Look at us.
People that are listening to this better have a notepad and writing all these bets down.
I hope so.
All right, let's go to our next segment. Future bets, win totals. We're going over, under, and then Super Bowl futures is what I'm talking about when I talk about future bets, because we already kind of talked about the division and conference. So when I say future bets in this segment, we're talking about a future to cash that Super Bowl winner. So let's first talk about win totals. Duke, what win totals caught your eye when you were looking at the numbers?
I'm going to keep it simple. Just give you 2. I'm going to take the Chargers over 9.5 for the same reasons. I think the public's undervaluing the Chargers, and they've got 2 weak teams in their division. And then I think the public's way undervaluing the Titans. I think they kind of forgot who the Titans are. Pretty solid team throughout, good coach, and their win total 7.5. So I'd be surprised if they don't win at least 8 games.
Awesome. So only 2 from Denny.
Yep.
Fitz, I know you got a lot. Come on.
Yeah, I got a lot. Not on there. I'm going to go Ravens over 9.5 minus 150. I talked about them earlier. I don't see how they don't finish at least 10-7. Falcons over 8.5 for the same reasons we talked about earlier, minus 120. Someone's got to win that division.
You got me on the schedule too.
Yeah. And then I really like the Packers over 7.5. Their last couple years, obviously with Rodgers and Devontae the year before, they were at 13.5, 2021, 11.5, 2022. I can see Jordan Love, his 4th year in the system. They face the easiest schedule of past defenses, 7th easiest overall defense investment. It's getting better. So even without Rodgers and Devontae, I think they can get to 8 wins.
I like it. I don't know if I'm in on Love yet. Are you guys in on Love? What's your opinion on Love?
See, I don't
in
know.
the card market
And
too.
to be honest with you, people like Love and Ritter, these kind of first-year starters, I don't know. And so if I'm a believer in those guys, I'd rather take the Falcons and win the division, and you get a little more of a bump if you're right versus a 50-50 bet, or even if you're laying minus money. So I don't dislike Jordan Love bet. I just don't like Jordan. I don't know enough. I don't know. Jordan Love could be great, could be terrible. I have no idea.
It's a mystery. And then Fitz, you also had another bet. You have someone to make the playoffs. Who was what bet is that?
Yeah,
I like it.
The Dolphins are pretty much even money to make the playoffs. You could probably get even money, for their over under 9.5.
The Dolphins.
I'm guessing if they get to 10 wins, they're probably making the playoffs. But I just wanted to kind of hedge that a little bit and just say they're going to make the playoffs and not have to worry about a win total.
I'm seeing 9.5, and maybe the best is minus 105.
Yeah, I have 9.5 at. I got 9.5 at plus 100.
Yeah,
instead of even money. Yeah.
All right, awesome. For me, we'll start with the Dolphins. I have them over 9.5 at plus 100. The Rams, I'm going over 6.5. I think they can get there. I think they can get this 7, maybe 7 and 9, minus 105. The Raiders under 6.5. I got the Colts under 6.5. I'm not the biggest believer in Anthony Richardson, even though he is getting hyped up even more than Stroud and Bryce Young right now because he was named starter. I think JTT is gone. I'm just not a believer in the Colts, and I think they go under and they don't have a great season. Bengals over 10.5. And then the Sharps were all over the Broncos under 8.5. So I was just like, I'm going to take that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
It's so easy to root against them.
Yeah.
Everybody hates Russ right now. And then what Sean Payton said.
What Sean Payton said, yeah. Just let's root against them.
Yeah.
All right. Now let's get into the futures to win it all. Okay. So what teams are we betting on to win the Super Bowl? Denny, who we got?
All right. So I looked at 5 of these. I think I'm only going to bet one, or at least I'm only going to hammer one of them. But the 5 I looked at, I think the Eagles at 8-1, best roster, like I said. But I have some concerns about new coordinators and just regression. The Bills at 9-1, again, I think it's basically the same team as Fitz said that was like 3 or 4-1 recently. Now they're 9-1. I think that's a lot of value. That's probably the one I'm going to hammer. I consider the Bengals at 11-1 because I just do think Joe Burrow, you put the ball in his hand, it's hard to beat him in the playoffs. And I just that's a path I can see, right? You can see him winning the Super Bowl. The Jets, I don't think I'm going to bet the Jets at 18-1. I just think it's interesting. I think they're going to be overvalued because of Hard Knocks and Aaron Rodgers, but they have a great defense. They're going to be in every game, and Rodgers, Garrett Wilson. I think Dalvin Cook's going to help. It wouldn't surprise me if they make a playoff run. It wouldn't surprise me if they miss the playoffs too, to be honest with you. So I think there's just 18-1 is a big number. And finally, the Ravens at 18-1. I think I'm a Lamar truther. I think he's back. He's got weapons. You saw how good they were, basically even without him last year, and you put him back healthy with 2 more weapons, man. 18-1's a lot. So that's the second. I'm definitely going to bet the Bills 9-1. If I bet a second one, it'll be the Ravens at 18.
Love it. Fitz.
Yep. Also in on Bills 9-1. Like the Bengals 11-1 as well. And I hate to keep bringing them up, but the 49ers at 10-1. I'm having a tough time like envisioning a scenario where they're not at least in the NFC Championship.
Yeah.
So whether it's
1-4,
right, yeah.
Right?
So
and once they get there,
maybe it's a Duke strategy where you make 2 bets on the Niners there and you cash one out once they get to the championship game and you let the other one ride. But
I love that.
I think 10-1 is a little long for the NFC.
I really like the Bengals to win it this year. We're all 3 on them. 11-1 is just a good number. You need a quarterback to win it all. Joe Burrow is that guy. Great offense. Now the defense is going to have to step up to win a Super Bowl, but they've known to get to the Super Bowl. Now it's time to finish it, and I'm on the Jets. Rodgers, this is his curtain call, closing it out, maybe win a Super Bowl. We forgot to mention Breece Hall as well with Dalvin. I know he's coming off the ACL injury, but their offense is really good, and their defense is really good. Sauce Gardner,
yeah,
he's great.
Sauce is the
man. His card's selling well, too.
Yep.
By the way. So I like the Jets, I like the Bengals. Now I might have to go get some action on the Bills and the 49ers, what you guys were talking about. But my 2 were the Bengals and Jets. I saw that Denny, you got them at 18-1, so I'll go find that because I was just looking at DraftKings. DraftKings has them at 16-1. All right, so let's move on to some predictions. Super Bowl prediction. Let's go to Denny. Who beats who? What is your score? And we got to come up with something. If you pick the 2 teams that are in it,
you have to wear a mascot costume all day.
What if you pick the correct score? We should bet this. How much money? What are the odds that you pick the 2 teams that are in and the correct score?
Well, just because the matchup is 26-1, right?
Yep.
So like now the correct score is probably 26 million to 1. Something like
that would be awesome.
Yeah, give me the Bills 31, 49ers 21. Fitz cries himself to sleep.
Woo!
Yep.
All right. I won't wait. I'm going to do mine, Fitz. I want you to go last because everyone knows who you're probably going to take. Rematch, Eagles and Chiefs. Eagles this time, 31-27. Okay. Fitz.
Yep, I like the Seahawks to break through and finally. No, I'm going to go also the Chris Berman pick. Niners, Bills. Niners win it 37-1, but
37-1,
37-1. Yes, no, 37-31. I can obviously see the Bills. If the Bills were playing the Niners, I would be very, very scared. I would probably bet the Bills, but I like the Super Bowl matchup 26-1 Bills and Niners.
Nice.
So I might sprinkle some of
Look
that.
at that giblet for y'all.
That's the odds. Them two playing.
Just playing.
Just
Yeah,
like-
that's the matchup. Yeah.
Wow.
And then Denny, what's the Diggs situation? You were talking about this the other day.
Yeah,
I mean that's
pretty.
It's huge.
He's unhappy, but I feel like he's always been unhappy. As
Yeah,
far as I know, he's still on the Bills. If he were to leave the Bills, that moves the line quite a bit.
Right.
I think they're cool now, right?
I hope.
Who knows?
I don't know. Just give him the ball, man.
All right. Well, let's talk about some cards. Let's take it to Value Town. Let's talk about who is undervalued in the card market going into the season. Which players are you most excited about having their card? Unfortunately, I didn't get a lot of cards, and I'm kind of past the time to get cards. So I'm going to be asking Denny and Fitz the question because I know they went out and got some cards. Denny, who is undervalued in the card market, and who are you excited to hold? I know you have a lot of cards going into the season. Who are you excited about the most to move that needle?
So I do think if you're an investor in cards, football, you probably should have bought a month or two ago.
Right.
Not that you can't find deals now, but they're less. It's more of a seller's market than a buyer's market right now with the season getting ready to start and fantasy drafts kicking off. But two guys that I think are still undervalued are Deshaun Watson and Lamar Jackson. Deshaun's pretty obvious why he's undervalued. Lamar, if you look at his prices compared to, say, Josh Allen's prices of the same year, in most cases, Lamar is like 25 to 45% of Josh Allen's pricing. And if Lamar gets hot, wins MVP, makes a playoff run, he has a lot easier room to grow. The two guys that I'm excited about holding long term this year because I think they're going to do better than the public thinks. They're going to make the playoffs and hopefully make a run. Would be Josh Allen and Justin Herbert. Been buying them for the last 3-4 months, really since they left the playoffs, very unceremoniously. And I just do think they're the best quarterbacks in decent situations. They're distressed real estate still. I think there's value to be had there. So I'm holding those guys later in the season, most likely.
Yeah, I love Josh Allen.
And we need those for the fund investors too. So
that's
Correct.
true. Those are two big fund investments.
Yep.
Fitz, I see that you got some big ones that you're excited to have. I know you some of your cards came back PSA 10s, which is really exciting. But who's undervalued first before you talk about who you're excited to have?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Justin Fields. I agree with both of Duke's picks, but Justin Fields, it's just getting still no love. Really across the board. His Prism rookie PSA 10 base is 2/3 the price of Kenny Pickett's, which just makes no sense to me. If you look at MVP, neither one of them are going to probably win MVP, obviously, but Fields is 20-1, Pickett is 40-1. So I just don't get that. So I think he's undervalued.
Interesting.
And yeah, excited to have, again, people are just getting nauseous at this point, but it's Brock Purdy. I'm also not excited to have all my Trey Lances, but I am excited to have my Brock Purdy's. I just think he doesn't have to be all that great. The team is loaded. He just has to do enough. And, he's never lost as a starter besides you count the NFC Championship game. So I like his prospects. And then obviously I have to be right about Desmond Ridder.
We're going to come after
you.
I have to resign.
I can't live with this shame.
But I bought Ridder when he was very, very early on when he wasn't playing at all. So I have almost nothing into him. And still waiting on a couple cards back. So I'm going to probably hold both of those guys. I'm going to wait through. A lot of people will sell the first couple weeks or even right now just to buy the hype, but I'm going to wait on both those guys till at least mid-season or later.
I wish you luck, my man. I like all those guys.
A lot of people are on Fields to win MVP. Just because of the value. And he's got DJ Moore, so hopefully now he's going to throw the ball.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's going to be all for the day. Good luck, everyone, with your bets. Check us out in a couple of weeks when we start doing weekly NFL podcasts. I want to thank our listeners for riding with Graybos. Be sure to tune in next time. Please leave us a review. We would love that. All right. You guys want to say anything to the people?
Giblets.
I want to say it's football season, but I want them to know I'm saying SZN, like the kids say, and not spelling out the whole word.
Correct, yeah.
You get that.
Good
right?
clarification,
Okay,
yep.
It's football season.
All right. We'll catch you next time.
Giblets.
Bye-bye.
go to sleep, I don't see sheep, see dollar signs. $100 got him beat the eyes for the 100th time at a money line. Brock Purdy was irrelevant, now I'm at the front like a cutting line. G5 to the power 5, Grable's on fire like it's summertime. I know they watching, I'ma make them sweat. Put your money down, place your bets. Degenerate, yeah, I'm a sicko. Who else gon' get you to the window? I know they watching, I'ma make them sweat. Put your money down, place your bets. Degenerate, yeah, I'm a sicko. Who else gon' get you to the window?